Moo.
Moo.
Moo. Moo. Moo.
Moo.
Moo.
Moo. Moo.
Moo.
Moo.
Moo.
Moo. Moo. Moo. Moo. Hey guys, what's going on? Eric here, bringing out some more D2 content. I figured it'd be fitting to upload cows for my first video of Season 2, considering my first video of Season 1 was cows, and that was actually my first Diablo 2 video to upload to my channel. And before we get into the stats and the drops, I just want to say I really appreciate all the comments you guys leave. I love interacting with you guys and talking about our shared experiences over the last 2 decades of playing this awesome game. I'm having a lot of fun on PD2, I'm having a lot of fun with YouTube, and it's mostly because of you guys, so just, yeah, keep leaving comments. Stats-wise, I found 43 Worldstone shards during these drops, which seems kind of high, but if you guys have a slamming addiction, come do cows, you'll get your fix. I found approximately 4 high runes, which seems pretty good. Stakes-wise, I found a give or take about 10,000 stakes. Actually needed to get a couple new deep freezers to hold all of that meat, but I suppose that's a pretty good problem to have. Started off with around 80 magic find. By the end of these runs, I was sitting around 360. I'm not going to go into my gear and build in this video. That's going to come at a later time, not too far into the future, so look forward to that. But, I mean, you guys can kind of see what I'm using here. Let's see, they averaged about 11 to 12 minutes to start, and I genuinely hurt my index finger from playing Holy Bolt when you do no damage, and it's just really monotonous. But I geared up, and by the end of the runs, I was sitting around 6-minute average, and my finger feels a lot better. If you guys have any additional questions, leave a comment. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. And if you guys want to see more from me, subscribe to my channel. All right, let's watch the drops. Starting things off, I find a stone of... a Ravenfrost. My patience is rewarded after 8 dry runs to find a majestic low rune. A couple runs later, I slam an FCR ring in hopes of getting Cannot Be Frozen, but brick it into a solid ring. Then, this hunk of beef drops a mid-rolled Bariza. The next run, I'm reminded why I identify all large charms. On run 15, my Merce gets a much-needed helm upgrade with a G-Face. It's obviously not an SOJ because I'm me, but I'll take the extra magic find. The streak continues with the newly buffed BK Sword. Horrible roll. On run 19, I find my first piece of the IK set with the boots. 4 runs later, the last few cows on the map make this run worth mentioning. The very next run, the game decided I needed a second pair of Infernos. Another 8 runs go by before looting a chest that gives me a Viper. A little later in the run, I find my first Shrek Maul. On run 32, these Moo-Moos drop a nearly perfect Alder armor. A couple runs later, I find the main rune I used to roll a perfect Hodo. Then, I find a solid next summon Lifer. The Skiller Grand Chimes continue in the next run. This time, it's Lightning. The streak continues with a couple noteworthy set pieces. First, it's the Trang Shield. A little later, I find Mav's armor, which unfortunately rolled +1. The next run, I get another chance at a +2 Mav armor. Add it to the donation pile. The drops continue on run 38. This time, we find some perfect chances. Feels good, man. Another skiller finds its way into my inventory. This one isn't very useful at the moment. A small magic find upgrade comes from a solid Towel Belt. The streak died on run 40, but it's all good because we found a Raven. On run 42, the cows be hatin' because they catch me gore riding dirty. Set pieces galore. You get a set piece. And you get a set piece. Set pieces for everyone! I was hoping for War Traps, but I'll take some Alder Boots any day. Ooh, that's a nice rune. Let me just pick that up. I don't know why wizards keep dropping their spikes in my game. So irresponsible. I've found 3 15 alt-res jewels so far this season. This is the first to drop. Halfway through the runs, another summoning GC drops. This time, it's for the druid. On run 52, this super useful Grand Charm drops for any character lacking lightning res. The next run, I found a bow GC, which I later traded for a cold, which I then traded for an ist. 15 alt-res jewel number 2. This time it's blue. It's pretty. The cows were stingy in the next run, but I did find these titans on the way to get the leg. Mav's Glovey Gloves drop on run 59. Glovey Gloves. Someone left a perfectly good pair of gloves under this rock for whatever reason. Apparently my character just looks cold because I can't stop finding Ravenfrost. The game also thinks I'm a low life and gives me a 20 life SC. Where do these people find blue vipers to make clothes out of? On run 69, I find another perfect 20 life small charm. 2 runs later, I find a couple belts. First, it's an IK belt. A little later, my Merce gets an upgrade. Yet again, my PSA to identify large charms gets reaffirmed. Also, my aversion to 2/2 alder helms continues. The next run starts off with another Shruckmaw with a trash roll. Not to be outdone, yet another +1 Mav armor. The streak continues as this medium rare steak coughs up a Mal rune. A little later, this pretty little small charm finds its way into our inventory. The run is capped off with a Towel armor, which I later traded for my weapon upgrade. 3/4 of the way there, I was surprised. Run 82 starts off by finding IK's gloves and the maul on the way to get the leg. A third piece of the set drops in the run. A little later, a mediocre non-eth tooth throw drops. And finally, another summon GC. This time, it's for the Necro. A couple runs later, some much-needed Magic Find upgrades come from a perfect 7MF small charm. Rune. Later in the run, the king decides to drop a painful gavel. Yet another weapon I'd prefer to be Eth drops. This time, it's a Demon Arch. A couple jewels drop on run 88. First, it's an interesting 15 max -15 requirement jewel. The second is a godly jewel to help with my constant stamina drainage. 3 runs later, I find another Alder armor. This time, it's lacking a skill to the elements. On run 94, Bariza number 2 drops. This time, the ED is slightly worse. A couple runs later, another piece of the Towel set drops with the helm. Then, a Magic Find upgrade comes from a perfect 7MF SC. Nearly done, I tell my buddy I find something useful in most of these runs. 2 seconds later, a Gaze drops. The last noteworthy drop comes from a decent pair of Laying of Hands.